Hello and welcome to your Zodiac Tarot card reading for June of 2020. So I'm going to give a general reading for everyone for June, and then I will give a reading for each of the 12 signs. So let's get started. All right, so the general feeling for June here is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is generally it's a good card. It's called the Make-A-Wish card. In this deck here, it has a little more of a feeling like of the Seven of Cups, of kind of like being off in the ethers and so much to choose from. But nevertheless, it's like having all of your desires satisfied, having everything laid before you, having the world laid before you, and feeling good about things. Now, our crossing card for June is the Page of Cups. Oh my goodness, the Page of Cups has been coming up in so many readings, the page, the page, the page, the page. So we're continuing this theme about feelings. And just as an astrology background here, Venus is retrograde through the majority of June. Venus is about our connections with other people and our relationships, and Venus wants to feel good. So with Venus retrograde, that desire to feel good and connect with others is very strong, though it may be thwarted. And it's also going to be square to Neptune throughout the whole time that it's retrograde, basically. So that kind of explains this dreamy quality here with this Nine of Cups and being very ungrounded. You see this lady's floating in the air. So yeah, so it's like we have this desire to connect with people and to feel good, but it's all kind of confusing, and it's all in another realm, and it seems very unreal, and none of it's very grounded. With the Page of Cups here as the crossing card, I think this is just saying, don't give up, don't feel disheartened, don't feel like just because things aren't the way you want them to be, just don't withdraw feeling or give up on your hopes and dreams and what it is that you want to see. Okay, so let's go to our first pair of cards, which is going to be the equivalent of the first house and the seventh house, which is going to be, the first house is you, and the second house is your relationship. So we're continuing that relationship conversation. So we have the Eight of Pentacles as you, and so that means you are working hard, doing what you do day to day. With the relationship part, we have the Ten of Swords. So, like I said, with this Venus retrograde, there can definitely be some disappointments. There's some things, or maybe it happened before the retrograde. There's something that happened and now you're trying to process it. So, at least at first glance, it's looking like relationships are not the height of pleasure, though we wish they were the height of pleasure. Okay, moving on. So then we have your inner world here in the fourth house, and I'm trying to keep it in the frame, and your outer world in the 10th house. Okay, so I can move this up a little bit more. Let me just straighten this out so everything works the way it's supposed to. Okay, that works more or less. Okay, so we have your inner world, which is the Nine of Pentacles, and your outer world, which is the Ace of Wands. So your inner world is complete. You're wealthy in the inner world. It seems like the inner world doesn't need much tending. The outer world is like, okay, we're ready to get moving on something here. We've got places to go, things to do, people to see, ideas to express, etc. So, once again, this whole theme of wanting to get out there and connect and get things done, You know, it's just a very strong desire. So things are just beginning to get moving in the outer world, as we all know, with this whole COVID-19, which I'll try not to comment on. Okay, so now we'll move into our next pair, which is going to be the second house and the 8th house. Okay, let me turn this way. I'm just going to keep everything right side up here. Okay, so the second house has to do with your money, your resources, your income. The 8th house has to do with other people's money, resources, or income. You know, the second house is your stuff. The 8th house is other people's stuff. So as far as your stuff goes, we have the 4 of Wands. So most of you will be in a good spot. The 4 is stability. If you have not been in a good spot, or you're not in a good spot, things should stabilize as far as resources and income. So just using real life examples, like if you apply for unemployment, hopefully you're getting it. Hopefully you're getting it regularly. It's not giving you a problem. If you didn't lose your job, then you're working. Maybe you went back to work. You know, if you're a stay-at-home mom, then maybe things are chilling out a little bit as school comes to a close. So you don't even have that to deal with anymore. And then here in the 8th house, like I said, with other people's money and other people's stuff, we have the King of Swords. And the King of Swords has to do with being a wise decision maker. The King of Swords is someone who can be objective and be fair and make good decisions. So this is in the house of like investments, taxes, all that. So you could have taken out loans, and some of them will, you know what I mean? Some of them may not work out the way you want to. So you have to make a decision about that. It could be that. It could be your partner or someone, you know, whoever you're partnered with, they have decisions to make in this realm about money and investments. It could have to do, once again, we're coming back to this partnership thing. It's like there's an issue with you and your partner that you need to look at objectively and fairly and try to keep the wave of emotions out of it that exists right now. That's what I would say about this pair. Moving on to the next pair, we have the 3rd house and the 9th house. And I'm trying to make my circle. Something's kooky with my circle here. I feel like it's not quite right.
Can you still see everything? Not really. Let's move these down. Okay.
That's better. I feel a little better about that. Okay, so the 3rd and the 9th house. So this has to do with your immediate surroundings and your far away surroundings, with your thoughts and your beliefs. So here in the 3rd house, with your immediate surroundings, the thing that came to mind first was you're stashing your cash. You're stashing your cash. So, you know, you may be cautiously getting out into the world and moving around, and you know, you may be stashing your thoughts because you don't want to get out into the fray of things with everyone's opinions and things like that. So, you know, but you're safe. We got 2 4s right next to each other here. So this is good. So there's a lot of stability in the personal life. And like I said, if you haven't been experiencing it, then this should develop for you in June. More stability in just your personal life with your resources and, you know, just those in your immediate environment. Your environment should stabilize. Here we've got another king. We've got double kings next to each other over here. So for the King of Pentacles part in the 9th, which is things that are far away from you or outside of you or uncomfortable for you, or part of your bigger vision, we have the King of Pentacles. So yeah, we have here where we have this Four of Pentacles where we're stashing our cash, and there's a little bit of stability, and we're like, okay, well, I just better hold on to that. And but we want to grow it. We want to grow it. I mean, look, oh wow, the symbolism is amazing right here. You notice she's putting the pentacles into this treasure chest box and burying it with the key. And look, the king has it over here. And then he's got a big pentacle. So yeah, so it's like for the future, it's like we want to grow it. Another thing that comes up with pentacles in general is like your values. So you're thinking about your values. You're thinking about your values on a small scale, on a local level, on like day to day, like this is how I make my living. This is how I pay my rent. This is how I buy my cars. This is how I buy gas. But there's also this big stretch to be like, yeah, but you know what? I really want more. And these are the kinds of things that I value in my philosophy of life and what I'm striving for. These are the kinds of things. So, you know, June is a time to be considering that. Like what is the future that you wish to create with other people? With other people, because it's connected here to your local, it's connected to your local space very clearly with this, you know, the local people around you have this, and it's just we need to be able to command it in a good way. But it's really happening. It's happening at a community neighborhood type level. And so once again, with the two kings right next to each other, and the two fours, I like this because this is very stable. And my initial impression of June, since we've got, I think we have an eclipse coming up at the end of the month. I thought maybe it might be a little more unstable, but there is going to be some stability creeping in here in June. So moving on to the fifth house. So the fifth house and the 11th house. Let me turn that around. Okay, so we got the fifth house of, this is like your personal expression, and the 11th house of your expression in groups. So we have your personal expression. Okay, so you're coming to the end here with the personal expression, and you may be a little tired of personally expressing, or this is also the house of children. So you may be, you know, at the end of your rope with dealing with your children. You know, this is all kinds of risky, you know, risk and chance and all kinds of things. So you might be a little tired of like, I got to make it happen, and I'm tired of expressing. Here in the 11th house, where you're working with groups of other people, once again, this is saying, once again, this is where we can get the work done, because the Three of Pentacles is the work happening. So if you're working with other groups of people, with networking, with tribes of people, this is where you can do the best work. Now, I do note that this woman here she is alone in the picture. There is not other people in the picture with her, and she is doing her work. But I'm going to take that, since this is the 11th house, she is indeed sharing it with other people who are, like I said, who are part of her tribe. So I think the idea here with this is like, you know, don't hide your light under a bushel, because here we see the light it's kind of fading, and this dude is still crawling up the hill. Here we see she has two candles lit. So don't hide your light under a bushel. Whatever it is you want to create, there's really an idea. And I know Venus is going away. Venus is going into her dark phase, and she won't come out till, okay, so Venus will be invisible and be in the underworld at the beginning part of June, but she should be visible again by the second or third week of June. So that's not as much darkness as I thought. So even though with this, like I said, we're desiring this connectivity and kind of this ideal relationship and connection with people, that may be a little bit difficult at the beginning of the month, but by the end of the month, it will be clearing. So back to this, let your light shine. We do have the ace and the 10 of wands in this spread. So, and the 4 of wands. So we've got a good expression of the wands energy here. And it's that with the ace and the 10, it's like we're showing like you will be able to complete something in the month of June, because we've got the ace and the 10, and it's like this 4 is like, it gives that completion. So, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart on anything. All right, next pair, we have got the 6th house and the 12th house. So the two troublesome houses that have to do with sickness and kind of things out of your control and trouble. Interesting, the Tower shows up in the house of trouble as trouble. So there is trouble to contend with. That's what I'm saying. This is not all roses and, fairy tales and stuff, but the female element is strong, because we have the 9 of Cups here. We've got the 9 of Pentacles. Those are both the female elements. So like I said, even though Venus is going to go dark, she's coming back, and you can take heart, because things will be resolved. So we're having trouble with the Tower here. And this is, you might want to, you can look at this as kind of like outer trouble and inner trouble. This card here in the 12th, these are things that are out of your control or things that are in your blind spots. And here we have the 3 of Swords. So we probably have 2 of the most negative cards in the tarot deck showed up right here in this pair here in the troublesome houses. So I would say with this 3 of Swords here in the 12th, it's everything just doesn't necessarily work out the way you want. This is the heartbreak card. This is also the card of missing information. I read it that way, that sometimes it's like there's just not enough, there's something missing, and you kind of know there's something missing. So don't jump too quickly. Call on your King of Swords here to make wise and just decisions. And if there's not enough information, don't move forward. Wait until there's better information. And look, we got 2 3s next to each other. This is crazy. We got 2 3s, 2 kings, 2 4s, two fires over here, different kind of fire. But anyway, so, the synergy is there. Let's put it that way. The potential for synergy is there. It just might not look exactly how you want it to, and if I would say if somebody does not show up how you want them to, or they're not capable of showing up how you want them to, then just let it go for now. Just let it, there's really nothing else you can do but let it go. In the 6th house, okay, so this is like, surprising stuff that happens. Can be accidents, things falling apart, and it's in the house of your day-to-day routine, in your house of health or lack thereof. I think the best thing to do with this card, and this can definitely be internal. It could totally be internal, even though that's not necessarily a meaning from this house. I think for sure it could be something that's happening internally, where something is crumbling. It's happening to everybody. Structures that we thought were reliable and there for us are not there for us. So it's like an internal reflection of the external, of everything falling apart and crumbling. And so then it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And see, it's between 2 10s. So we've got, 2 endings. So we've got, it's like we have just an ending, which is really a new beginning with how we see things, and an ending and a new beginning about how how we use our energy and how we move forward. So I think this is just, this is just a reflection here of just what we're going through. But if you look at the rest of the reading, like I said, the rest of the reading is really nice. So it's just our environment here with the 5, 6, 7 is just, it's crumbling, and we have to give up on things, and we have to let go of things. They may not be things that we wanted to or ever thought that we would have to. That's kind of the shocker. That's what I think the shocker is like a lot of these just like, man, didn't see that coming. Never thought that wouldn't work out. Always thought that would be there forever. Just thought that was a given in life. And it's not. I mean, that's the thing. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go around and we can read for each of the signs. So, beginning with Aries over here. So Aries, you are the 8 of Pentacles. So Aries, you're just going to have to keep working hard, keep honing your craft, keep practicing, keep doing what you need to do. Practice makes perfect with this card. And let's pair you up with another card. So double for the Aries here. You've got the 9 of Swords. And so with the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles, for the Aries here, you've got the 9 of Swords. And so with the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles, the advice here for you, Aries, don't think about it. Just do it. Just do it. Just, like I said, put in the hours, put in the practice, put in the time. Don't even think about it. Because if you think about it, your mind's just it's going to pull you in all different directions, and you don't want to do that. So for Taurus, we've got the 4 of Wands, and then I'm going to add the Page of Swords. So for Taurus, I would say, okay, you have on a certain level, you have arrived. You've accomplished something. You made it. And then with the Page of Swords, it's like, well, what else can you try? So don't just sit there and then, and say, yeah, I made it. This is cool. This is good. That's all I ever need to do. Page of Swords is saying, yeah, what else can you do? What else can you try? What other ideas can you come up with to either enhance what you already did or to move forward on something else? Next, we have the Geminis. So for Gemini, I want to make it so you can see your card. You have the 4 of Pentacles and you have the 10 of Pentacles, Gemini. Wow. Gemini is cashing in here. So there's a lot of stability, weirdly, for Geminis. There's a lot of groundedness. There's a high value. So what I want to say to the Geminis is there's a high value in knowledge and in facts right now and in information, because it seems that in this information age, everything is oddly upside down, and especially right now, and trying to find good information is not easy. It's very difficult. There's a lot of crap out there, and you know it. A lot of this is just crap, and then people just echo the crap and echo the crap and echo the crap, and that's all that's out there is a bunch of crap. So for you, Gemini, you hold the gold if you can actually communicate some good information to everyone. So that's your task for the month of June, Gemini, is get some good information out there, because you can totally do it, and that's your currency right there. All right, moving on to the Cancers. Where can I put your card, Cancer, so you can see it? Okay. All right, Cancer, you have the 9 of Pentacles and the Emperor. So you're in a good position too, Cancers. It's about building from your strengths and building from your stability. So we will be moving into Cancer at the end of June. We're starting with Gemini, and then we go into Cancer. And so, just Be yourself, Cancer, and everything that you have to offer, and you have got the strength to build something new. Cancer is about home and family. And it's about the strength of home and family and feeling secure within your home and family. So if you can somehow, build that and strengthen that and be able to put that out into this new world, because I'm speaking from this position that, our world is crumbling and we have to replace this stuff that has fallen apart with something. We just can't float in never land forever. And so it's up to all of us to create the next phase. So for Cancer, since that is kind of where you live at home, and you like to nurture and feel good and stuff, how can you build that out into something else and be a leader in that? How can you bring home and family and feeling secure and accepting people into, how can you build that into part of this new world into which we are entering? Next, we have the Leos. So for Leo, where can you see your card? Okay, so for Leo, we have got the Ten of Wands and the Chariot. So yeah, Leos, you're wrapping something up here for sure. So where are you going next? How do you want to get there? How do you want to get there next time, Leo, for this next adventure, for what you're wrapping up, or for what you're getting sick of and you're going to dump anyway? How do you want to arrive? Do you want to arrive in a stretch limo? Do you want to arrive in a Volkswagen? Do you want to arrive in a boat? I was watching this documentary about these guys that went from, was it New Zealand to Patagonia or something crazy like that via Antarctica. So, and you have to really use your map skills to figure that one out. But that's what they did. But do you want to arrive in a boat via Antarctica, or how is it you want to arrive? So it's time to plan your next adventure, Leo, is what I'm trying to say. And it could be anyway. It could be in a spaceship. It could be, whatever. But it's spend your creative energy there, Leo. Okay, the Virgos. I think I can put your guy here. Yes. Okay, Virgos. So you have the Tower and you have the King of Cups. So don't lose it. That's what I'm seeing with this right here is do not lose it. Things are falling apart. Structures that you thought would be there forever are not there. They're crumbling. And so the King of Cups, he keeps it together. He is emotionally together. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have emotions or he doesn't feel emotions, but, he keeps it together in a way, and he can even deal with other people's emotions. So that's the message for Virgos, is you need to definitely pay attention to your emotions and keep it together for the month of June. For Libras, okay, so Libras, okay, so you have a decision to make, Libras. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, so this ending that could be a new beginning, you have to make a decision about. So that's your specialty, Libra, balancing all the options, weighing things out, and then making a decision. So June is your decision month for Libra. Scorpio, you have got the King of Swords and the Two of Wands. So you can see that, okay. It's time for Scorpios to connect with something for sure, and to feel it, to have a really deep attraction. So while you're this is kind of weird, it's while you're being able to be fair and impartial and make good decisions, and you've got that one part of you, you need to connect with what really with what really inspires you and gives you that fire, because Scorpio is ruled by Mars. So there's a fiery element to Scorpio as well as a water element. So that's kind of your dichotomy here, Scorpio, is to kind of balance this, being able to be objective and also being able to be passionate and connect to that passion. I would say for Scorpio, I would say, you know, look at where your passion lies and where your drive lies and what really gets you excited and pumped up. You don't have to do anything about it, but just find it and just write it down and be aware of it and watch it and see what happens. Sagittarius. Okay, so you've got the King of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. So in your quest, Sagittarius, to grow things and to get real clear on your values, and just make that prosperous vision for yourself, you're gonna have to go this alone. So, you know, as a Sagittarius, maybe you would like to have a congregation to preach to. Maybe you would like to spread the word and spread the truth. But for now, for the month of June, this is going to be a personal endeavor. And it's just, you know, you walking the path, and you're on your pilgrimage here. You're on your pilgrimage to get to this king of Pentacles, where it's like your values are fulfilled. So that King of Pentacles could be you, it could be somebody else, it could be something else, but it's like you're on the pilgrimage and you're on the quest by yourself this month, Sagittarius, to find that fulfillment and the values that make you feel good. Capricorn. Okay, so we've got the Ace of Wands and we've got the Seven of Swords. So when I see this card, I always say, like, do you trust the people around you? Do you trust the environment you're in, Capricorn? I wouldn't be surprised if you don't, because there's still a lot of stuff happening in Capricorn. We still have Pluto and we still have Jupiter, and let me see, the nodes are gone, thank goodness. There's still action here in your house, so I wouldn't be surprised if you felt like you don't trust things, Capricorn. So once again with this 7, it's like, and we have this theme here of like there is a sense of loss, but how are you going to move forward then? What's the plan, Capricorn? How are you going to get where you need to go? So there is this new spark here, a spark of inspiration. So how are you going to move forward, and how are you going to build trust along the way? Next up, we have the Aquarius, our friends, the Aquarius. Okay, so we have the 3 of Pentacles and we have Temperance. So for Aquarius, I think this is all about really doing good work and finding the right expression of the work. This could even be healing work with Temperance here. But yeah, it's like, do your thing, share it with others, and, you know, find the right combination that works, that hits, that kind of people resonate with or people recognize as something that they connect to or whatever. So this is very nice here for Aquarius. So just keep doing the work. And for Pisces, we have 3 of Swords and the 8 of Swords. So for Pisces, you might be feeling a little tied up here. You do have Neptune in your sign for quite some time to come. The 8 of Swords card is this: you need to think outside the box, because you're only thinking one way. You have blinders on. You're not able to see beyond the circumstances or how you're thinking about things. That's the Eight of Swords. And you're hurt. You're definitely hurt. And so, you know, you're right next to the Temperance card is right next to you. Because I was like looking, I'm like, okay, well, where's the help here? Well, the help is right next door here, in Aquarius. So, you know, it's about finding the right combination and doing the right amount. It's a little of this, a little of that, but you're not killing yourself. You're not going crazy. You're not saying it has to be done today. You're not saying this is the only chance I have. You're not saying things like that to yourself. You're just like, yeah, a dash of this, a dash of that, you know, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Let me sing this morning. And I know if you're very distressed right now, that's not really a helpful thing for me to be saying. But I would say that help is there for you. And I would reach out, and I would, you know, you can actually ask for help. You can go, hey, I can't seem to see beyond this. I need a little help. Send me a little help. And then once again, this idea with connecting with others, if you can connect with others in some way, that may be helpful to you as well. So let me lay one final card. And we have the Ace of Swords. So yeah, we have the opportunity this month in June to think new thoughts. And they're just thoughts. That's all they are. But we have the opportunity to think new thoughts. So if anything comes up, you're like, well, that's just a thought, but I can think another thought. So that's my advice to you in June, is to think new thoughts. And if you don't like that thought, think another thought. See you in July. Also, I do offer these horoscope readings on a personal level. You can visit me at quickcardreading.com.